Here we go. You're the rough draft. You're the final copy. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Carpo's podcast for February 20, or I should say, for 2/22/2020. Does that number really mean anything? Probably not, but it's interesting and it's fun. So, without further ado, let's get on with it. I'm going to talk about a bunch of shit tonight. I've got some various things. First, I'm going to give my mission statement for my life. That sounds a little bit preposterous, but this podcast format is unique for me. I'm actually recording it on camera too from the background, but I'm only going to be uploading the audio portion with some pictures because it's simpler and it sounds better. Or maybe I'll upload just my face. I don't know. My ugly mug. We'll see. I'm going to first talk about my mission statement for life. Many of us have made a mission statement for our work. We've taken on a career or worked for somebody else, and we found that we have to. Usually, it's when you start a business and you write a mission statement that's very simple. And the funniest thing is that I wrote this down earlier, my mission statement for life, to try to say, well, if I want to be a human being, what would I say my mission statement is? And it wasn't even an hour later where I found this old paper. It was called My Mission Statement, and it was from 2015, from Philo Taxi Botanicals. This was before I started my business as a kratom vendor, and I was going to call it Philo Taxi instead of Carpo's Botanicals. But I thought Carpo would be a more recognizable name. But I'm looking at this thing, and it's a whole page about how much I love herbs and plants and synergy of plants. It just goes way over people's head. And looking back at history, you realize how stupid and ignorant you were, even a few years ago. And I'm just glad I never posted this as I don't know. When you look back at the bullshit that you put forward when you were young, you realize how ignorant you really were in a lot of cases. But I was originally going to read this kind of mock joking paper that I wrote. Kind of like a joke introduction, like this video is sponsored by, and it's called Time Stretch Incorporated, and it's about how it stretches time to make you think that your life is longer. And I'm reading it here on my computer, but it just is too long. I just go on and talk for way too long about shit. But and that's fine when I'm making a podcast like this, and that's why I'm doing it. But when it comes to making a point, it's really important that we just shut the fuck up and get to it, So I'm going to get to it. Here's my mission statement for life. It's just a little note card, and it's very simple. I made this yesterday. And let's see, it has there's 8 points. Pretty simple. It says, and this is in no particular order, be honest in my dealings and interactions with people. Defend myself and those I love from harm. Improve my community and world somehow. Take time to understand my society. Stand up for what I feel is important. Stand up to bullies and liars and bullshit. Enjoy my experiences and share the love with others. And the final one is have fun and nurture curiosity. And I think that's pretty simple. I could go on and on about all the different perspectives we can have on life, but I tried to find ones that were general, that were universal in a sense. And, I find that family is a very universal and important thing to people. So, this squeaky goddamn... I wish this thing would stop squeaking. But here it is. It's reality. I'm sitting on a squeaky stool. What can I do? Start the video over? Anyhow, my mission statement is very simple. It's just to be a better person, improve my life. Why? Because I want to live the best life I can. So now I'm going to move on to a couple things, and I want to get through these things quickly. And it's not my usual style, so forgive me. But I don't want to talk about news, but I want to talk about important issues to me, and also some not so important issues, but just things I think about. And sometimes I think this is so trivial, but I'm going to discuss everything anyway. The next thing is about school, and for those of us with kids, it's very quick. Exploiting your kids on the internet is bullshit. You know, there were those parents who got in trouble for, I think it was like Philip DeFranco and a bunch of other YouTubers ganged up and H3H3, and they kind of took this guy out. It was this family daddy of 5 where they would prank their kids. And they would do it for views and people would watch it. And there were some sadistic motherfuckers who watched this shit. And I just thought, this is disgusting. You know, I never watched it myself. I watched it after the fact, after learning about it and seeing it on these exposing, expose videos. But it was just messed up when I thought about how many parents exploit their kids. And I wanted to make this point because I wanted people to realize, it's important to let your kids live their lives and not exploit them on the internet. I have 3 children. One is 7, one is 10, and one is 25. And you'll notice that out of the 4,000 fucking videos I've made, I've only made maybe 2 or 3 with my kids even remotely in them. And one of them, actually, some guy he reposted it and said I was satanic or something, teaching my kids something about McDonald's. It was way back in the day. And I'm way past that. But I thought, at that point, I'm never putting my kids on the internet. Not just for that, but because of the fact that when they grow up, we don't know what the world's going to be like. I mean, every single thing that your kid says online or on a camera, it gets documented. It gets thrown into the big machine, right? So what are you going to do? You just protect your kids as much as possible. That was about all I wanted to say about kids, just to learn not to exploit them and try to realize that kids have rights too. And they will get older in a new world, and the internet has changed everything. The next thing is about school pictures. It was just a simple question. Why? Why do we still have school pictures? Everybody has a digital camera. Anyone can text a picture to every single family member that we have. Even grandma has a cell phone now. So why do the school pictures still exist? Why do they still come in there and make us feel like we should be part of the yearbook? Why not just have us text our pictures, our favorite picture of our kid, into the school and have them put it in the yearbook? Isn't it that simple? And I won't even get into the cost of school. That's for a whole different story altogether. That's about all for school. I also wanted to talk about the virus briefly. People have wondered about what's going on with this virus. I don't think it's that big of a deal, honestly. I think that it kills, 2% of the population or less. It's usually the elderly and the immune compromised. So I would say just be aware, be cautious, wash your hands, the usual things, but don't be worried about dying. Unless you have a compromised immune system, and then watch out. Pardon me. That's about it for the virus. The next thing I wanted to talk about, and these are in no particular order, but I didn't even want to touch on this, but fuck Mike Bloomberg. I'm really trying to avoid politics this season. I mentioned Bernie Sanders in a couple videos, and that's because I stand by my candidate. I always have since 2016. I voted for Bernie Sanders, and I will this year too. I'm not going to rub it in anybody's face or tell you what to vote for or who to vote for. But Mike Bloomberg has spent $250 million or something on ads, and I know all of you have seen them. They're on YouTube, and I'm sure they're on cable. They're everywhere, and it is disgusting. I didn't even watch the debate the other day because I'm so disgusted with what they've done to Bernie Sanders. Honestly, the Democrats hate Bernie, and they're trying to get him out. And the Republicans hate Bernie. they're trying to get him out. And to me, this is exactly what the Trump voters said in 2016. Everybody hates Trump, so we want him because it's different. And all I can say is maybe it's time that we all come together and do the same thing and try again. Because the few things that Trump said he was going to do, he didn't do. So I would like to see if Bernie can do it. And if he can't do it, then I'm going to say the same thing I said. Fuck you, Bernie. I'll say the same thing to Obama. He was a shitbag. I wished he would have done more. He could have done more. I know he was blocked on a lot of issues, but there was also a lot of military action that was unnecessary, in my opinion. I'm not even going to go into politics beyond that. My whole point was that Bloomberg sucks balls. I think the guy is a fucking douchebag. And it just shows that you can literally buy your way into politics, which is exactly what he's doing. Buying ads, trying to get your attention. And which brings me to my next issue, which is drug prices. You know, all these people talk about drug prices. And that was one of the things that kind of irritated me about Trump. He said he was going to bring drug prices down, make these people pay. I want to go over a list of some of the most expensive medications. And this is a yearly cost for a drug for a specific condition. And, okay, so for multiple myeloma, it's $113,000. For metastatic breast cancer, $118,000. Multiple myeloma, $119,000. Lung cancer, $137,000. Multiple myeloma, again, $140,000. ALK positive lung cancer, $150,000. Lung cancer, $153,000. Pulmonary arterial hypertension, $160,000. Cystic fibrosis, $259,000. Juvenile onset hypophosphatasia, $285,000. And the number one is LAL deficiency at $310,000. Now, this is just a small list and a small example, but I think we all know that drug prices are absolutely ridiculous. And our whole system for how we interact with, medications and drugs and big pharma is just ludicrous. And I'm hoping that I guess people pull their heads out of their asses and really start complaining about these things, because until we do, we're going to still pay 10 times more than some countries for the same drugs. You know, America has become kind of a joke in that way. So maybe things will change, and we'll see. And so that brings me on to something more positive, which is my next discussion, and these are all things that I come up with during the week that I really want to talk about, and they're all random. Knowing yourself, which has nothing to do with drug prices or anything else, but I think I made a video about this previously today, so I'm not going to really go too much into it. But I did want to say, don't take life too fucking seriously. It's ridiculous. I've discovered that people really don't want truth. They don't want facts. There are some who do. Don't get me wrong. But in other words, if you're the kind of person who thinks that you can present a bunch of facts and it's going to change everybody's mind, you're fucking deluded. There's no way. And everybody wants a little bit of hope. And so therefore we create these delusions. We create these, we take on teams, we take sides, that's why we love sports, we love competition. And so people don't really want truth. They want hope, and they want illusions. They want an understanding of their future, even if it's not the real one. And I don't blame folks. You're born and you die, and you can't get over that. And I'm not going to go into that one because that gets depressing pretty quick, but there's only a few more things that I really wanted to cover, and I think I should take a toke first. I wanted to talk about cannabis briefly. I wanted to give my 3 favorite strains of cannabis: Gorilla Glue No. 4, OG Kush, and Chem Dog. And I actually have like a purple Kush and a Chem Dog combo here. And That was just a studio prop. Yeah, it's not real. Perfect. And that leads me to my conclusion here. It's that thing that you don't know that you knew you wanted to know. You know that thing that you don't know that you knew you wanted to know now. And the main thing is that I had this note sitting here that there are a few different types of people in this world. And sure, people have used every metaphor you can imagine. There are hunters, there are filter feeders, and there are bottom feeders, just like fish. And the hunters, they are the ones that seek the information out, the ones that really actively try to understand the world. The filter feeders, they only process what information is given to them by others, and they just settle on whatever's around. The bottom feeders, they pull up the leftovers, and they are easily manipulated, and they get ignored. And I hate to simplify being a human that way, but there are some pretty simple rules for knowledge. You need to learn as many things as you can, in as many areas as you can. Be a Renaissance person, not a Renaissance man, no offense. Learn as many things as you can, because you need to learn how to sew. You need to learn how to build, how to create. And don't get attached to what you do learn. Don't use it to become a better person than others, or have some kind of ego, or I'm better than you. And don't get attached to that, but also it helps you learn to let go of the bullshit. Also, use caution declaring what you think is good or bad, because often you're totally full of shit. It's happened to me so many times. Use Occam's razor, which says the most likely explanation often is. Not always, but usually. So we need to use reason, not emotion. And that means using caution. What works now might not work later. And we have to be ready to change our version of the truth. We can't let our ego cloud our ability to admit we were wrong. And especially we have to give credit when another person is right. So speak your truth always. Don't let peer pressure cloud what you think is right and what you think is wrong. And but at the same time, listen to your fellow man, because often they know better than we do. And ask what is there to lose or gain by knowing or not knowing a certain thing. And beware of propaganda and false intentions. And those are the lessons I have to share with you today. So I hope you walk away a better person from it. And if not, well, tough fucking shit. I'm just kidding. Have a wonderful evening. Take care now.
Raindrops floating down the river, yay, close your eyes, it's okay, mushroom clouds, hooray, drift, drift, fade away.
Thanks for coming to Carpo's channel, yo. Yeah.